I'm the second child of Frank and Marilyn. My sister Kathleen is going to speak afterwards. I just want to spend a few moments with you and first off express my gratitude for my family, my extended family, for you all coming here today in memory of my mother. As my cousin Melanie said, this is an appropriate venue for this. My mother is known as an artist, and ironically, she began her painting on barn boards. So here we are in a barn, right? And this is supposed to be a day of celebration. And my mother lived 91 years, 1 month, and a day. Of that lifetime, she had not been in a hospital for 59 years, of the last 59 years of her life. Not since giving birth to me. And I think we'd all take that today as great odds, and to live that kind of life. Unfortunately, death and taxes are the two norms in this country. And my sister and I and others close by and family and friends got to experience probably, which unfortunately in my mind is still burned very deeply, those last 6 months. And it was great talking to a lot of you beforehand here today, because I think today it enables me to kind of move on and just try to remember all the good things. The last 6 months, and then looking out at all of us here, we all know that it's a certainty at some point in time, and how do you weigh that? How do you want to leave this earth? God should have probably just gave us a battery pack and allowed us just to simply pull the battery out when we felt it was time to go. So personally, this is a great opportunity for me to kind of selfishly forget about the last 6 months. It was tough, and there's a lot of people I'd like to thank. My cousins, their mother, for all. It was great that my mom's last 2 years of life on this earth, she got to spend time with them. But more importantly, there is a person that deserves a lot of the credit. She was a lot responsible for putting this thing together here today, and she really took a lot of her life, especially in the last few years, taking care of her mother, and that's my sister Kathleen. She did incredible things. Lived in the southern suburbs of Chicago, drove over an hour each way each day, checking in on my mom. I unfortunately am kind of in a lifestyle and in working that I'm on a plane more than I'm in a car, and it was difficult for me. And it was always made me feel good and comfortable that my sister was there to help out. So Kathleen, with that, I really appreciate that, and I'll never forget that. Same with you, Melanie and Laura and everyone else. I guess just kind of summarizing here, we have our friends and our family, obviously my mom's artwork. I'm very proud of my mom and her artwork. She, there's been wonderful things already said about her here today. But I think what's going to be wonderful is, for my mom, we're going to be able to remember all the memories through those paintings, through conversations with friends, through conversations with family, reminiscing and talking about all the things that we loved and cherished in the moments in time with my mother and father. Tom and Stephanie Hatch, I'm so pleased to see you here. As my daughter Rachel said, we used to come down here in the holidays, Thanksgiving, and the wood carvers, and we would buy your nativity sets and your Christmas things. And Tom, you and my dad were like good old buddies, kind of running around here. And Stephanie, you and my mother shared the commonality of being artists and painters. And all of you, the rest of you here that are the artists that participated in the events here at the barn. A lot of fond memories. And it's ironic that when Rachel came, she was about this big. With my wife Lisa and I, and now she's bringing her little kids, and I have 2 other daughters that got to experience it here. Alex, and then my other littlest one, Mackenzie, unfortunately couldn't be here today, but I know both my father and my mother are looking down on me and looking down on the rest of us, and really smiling. So with that, thank you again for attending. Peace and God be with you. Thank you. No.
I hate going last. Everyone says the beautiful things. I have to write all my stuff down. Public speaking is not my forte, and then I have my mother's cousin Eric over there with his video. I'm very nervous. Anyway, it's hard to say. I'm going to go in the past with what I'm going to say. First off, I just want to, I wrote everything down, so I will be the reading. I just want to thank everyone for coming today to celebrate my mom's life, which, barring from my favorite Frank Capra movie, it was a wonderful life. 91 wonderful years. I want to thank Pastor Mike, who was kind enough to officiate today. It was comforting to have someone who knew my parents to bless and celebrate their lives. It's not some stranger here, so it's really comforting. I look over this table, there's Johan and Michael. I grew up together. It was a wonderful time. I was just talking to Michael earlier. It was a golden age growing up in Galesburg that so many wonderful people. Unfortunately, so many of them gone, but they live on and they taught us so much. And we're good friends from Calico Cat. Thank you for coming here, Anne, Felicia. It was a big part of my mom's life, working at the Calico Cat. She worked there when I was in college. I'm getting off my script here, but it's a funny story. My friends would always ask, is your mom working today at the Calico Cat? Because you gotta go buy some papers. And we told Mom to buy them and she's there. I love that. I also want to especially thank Jan and Rich for providing such a beautiful and fitting venue. This was such an important part of my parents' life. My brother said she started painting on hardwood, but later years she had her artwork here. She loved coming here during the Spoon River Drive and Christmas season. And I enjoyed coming here. This was such a fun thing. We knew when we come down to visit, this would be a big part of our life. So they did a beautiful job, and I want to just thank them and all the barn pals that are here. So thanks for coming. Mom loved to party for any kind of social gathering. She lived for that. So I'm sure she's here with us in spirit. She's so pleased to see so many of her friends and family gathered. There's people who came from a distance. Thank you, Juanita and Roger, who came all the way from Kansas, and this videotaper here, Harry, from California. She'd admire the beautiful flower arrangements, this wreath, all her artwork here for everyone to admire, and she would especially love this deep blue table linen. We had a party for her this past month. We arranged it in her assisted living place. And when we were talking about the arrangement, she said, you know, I have tablecloths. You just need to go to the storage locker and get them. So a month before she left us, she was still wanting to entertain and do so with her own things. Oh, that storage locker. It was difficult for Mom to leave Galesburg to move closer to John and me, as she was leaving behind so many dear friends, and she had to downsize. Something she never really came to grips with. She moved into a one-bedroom apartment in the same building as her sister Rosemary. And I know she enjoyed being close, again, to her only sister, as well as her nieces, nephews, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. But she had a difficult time not being able to have all her things. You'd be amazed how much stuff we were able to squeeze into that one-bedroom apartment. But on every visit, she would ask me about that storage locker, and if I could bring just one more thing to her new place. I don't know anyone who loved her things more than my mom. I would tease her that John and I were going to have to build her a pyramid so she could spend eternity with them. I think she was rather keen on that idea. However, her possessions were more than just objects to admire. They were a tie to the past, a link to family, friends, places that had meaning. Almost everything had a story which she loved to share with anyone willing to listen. I surprised myself in going through her things how much I remembered, and that so much of this stuff was actually a tribute to my mom and her ability to make and keep friendships, about her deep love of family and tradition. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with my great-grandmother's garden cloth, but I am grateful that my mom, by holding on to these things and giving them life with remembrances, I feel a connection with someone I never met. Another example is a little silver box still containing almonds, now petrified I'm sure, which was for the first communion of Joe the tailor's son. This was from the 60s. and she still kept it on a shelf in her corner cupboard. Mom knew everybody. She was interested in everyone, so much so that the tailor shared his joy of his son's first communion with her. I couldn't go anywhere without someone asking, "Are you Marilyn Blaze's daughter?" Mom, knowing so many people, did have a straw box for us though. The registered mail was not delivered to the country, so we had to go to get it every night since Mom read it cover to cover. I can still remember sitting with my dad and my brother, which seemed like an eternity, while Mom would run in to just get a copy. She'd run into so many people in the store that she'd forget that we were in the car waiting. Dad, always in good humor, said she was the only person he knew who would shop for a newspaper. I had a wonderful childhood thanks to my parents, but I only realized later how lucky I was to have such unconventional parents. My mom pursued her art career with complete support from my dad. We may have lived 6 miles from town, but our home was always filled with company, and a diverse group it was. As a child, I well remember playing outside, wondering who would be the next to trek up that drive. I would never have to wait long. For years, my parents ran the Blaze Nursery, and Mom had a small gift shop, which evolved into the Treehouse, featuring work by local artists. Our place became a destination for people, with the nursery, my dad's menagerie of animals, and the gift shop. I was fortunate that my mom shared so much of her life with me. When she had her first one-man show at Marshall Fields, I was only 8, but she made sure I went to Chicago to be part of this big adventure. How exciting it was for me, who had never spent time in the big city, let alone staying in a normal hotel. I have to admit I was more interested in the escalators than I was in the art gallery. For several days, they were more like an amusement ride for me, and I spent hours happily riding them. Only when we were riding home did we discover I had chicken pox. To this day, I wonder how many people I might have been riding up and down those escalators. Melanie mentioned her cooking. My remembrance is she hated cooking, but she loved to set a beautiful table. She believed presentation was everything. John and I often disagreed, and we nicknamed her the charcoal cooker. I don't think my dad ever complained, but we did. I finally brought her a timer to wear around her neck as she would get busy with some art project or other and totally forget something was on the stove or in the oven. I can't count how many pots and pans were ruined. If you had ever lunch at our place, I am positive you were served her version of the Marshall Fields turkey sandwich, or if she needed to bring a dish somewhere, she brought her cranberry relish. For years, I tried to get her to try some new recipes, but to no avail. But for someone who didn't like to cook or bake, I love the fact, one of my favorite memories, that she stayed up late one night when I was in 4th grade, decorating round, large sugar cookies in the shape of beetle heads. I loved the beetles when I was in grade school, and for my treat for school, as we brought in those days, she made 30-odd individual, they were this big, and decorated them as individual beetles. There's so many, many memories, so many stories. I appreciate you indulging me in just this few. I can't begin to thank both my parents for all their sacrifices and the amazing home they provided for my brother and myself. It was a home filled with love, laughter, art, music, and the fellowship of friends and family, and my parents shared them with my brother and me. And important as her life was to Mom, she valued family and friends above all else. I'm just going to take a minute to read something because my daughter would be upset if I didn't. My daughter, Elizabeth, can't be here. She's in Oxford finishing up a master's degree in English. And like my mom, she's very much like my mom. High maintenance. That kind of skips a generation. My grandmother's the caretaker, my mom's the artist, I'm the caretaker, my daughter's the artist. Anyway, she said something in it this morning, and I have to read it for her. There's a quote often attributed to Van Gogh, which reads, "I dream my paintings, and then I paint my dreams." My grandmother, an artist, was also a self-professed daydreamer, a trait she would often half-jokingly attribute to the fact that she was a Pisces. While she didn't think she had the ease with and love of water, what she believed a Pisces should possess, her imaginative reveries had a fluidity and depth which allowed her to find a dream, like potential in the everyday, a unique vision of life that she conveyed with her art, and which was beautifully, prominently evident in her art of living. I remember how distinctly and with such dexterity she could merely look at an object and see its potential to transform, and practically touch these present. I will always admire my grandmother's ability to see and dream of striking transformations and new possibilities, and I will always be grateful that she encouraged me to cultivate the same. I guess maybe that Oxford education thing off. Yeah. Anyway, the last few months As I said, as important as art was to my mom, she valued family and friendship above all else. The last few months of our life were difficult, but she was continually surrounded by family. It was a blessing for her to be near her sister Rosemary. Unfortunately, couldn't be here today. My brother and his wife Lisa, their daughters Rachel with her husband Matt, and Alex and Mackenzie were a constant source of support and love. What was a testimony for me was all the love and support Mom received from her nieces and nephews, Laura, Melanie and Bob, John Charles, Jane and Larry and Nancy. You can never know how much this meant to me, and I would be forever grateful. Mom always told me she had the most wonderful childhood growing up, and seeing Joe with her grandmother Reese, and all the time on the farm in Ogden with grandmother Sadler, with all the aunts and uncles. Towards the end, Mom talked about the end of sleeping, and it was comforting to know she was going to be welcomed home by so many loved ones. She kept repeating that her Uncle Ralph told her not to worry, and he would come in his truck and get her home. I believe on April 30th he did.
Holy Gospel according to St. John.